Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well. And today I want to first send a huge thank you to everyone that supported my secondary channel of Welcome to Asgard. We just finished a 14-hour stream. I was not on it for 14 hours. I came on a few times, but it was a 14-hour stream of this page being refreshed every 30 seconds and showing very clearly that the audience rating is being tampered with at some point. If it's not being tampered with, then all that it shows us is clearly Rotten Tomatoes is incompetent with being able to run its website, and also that likely that all of these crazy things that have been going on, all of these glitches that have been going on, are directly tied to the fact that they recently changed their entire layout, their entire system, just to protect this movie. And I know that they've released saying, oh, it was not just to protect this movie, it was to stop trolling in general, and these are plans that we had for the long time, forever. If these are long-term plans that you had, if these were carefully crafted plans that you had to change your coding in this way, you would not be having all of this nonsense to the point where even now, look at this. As you can see, I'm signed in. Look at that. All right, let me go ahead. 2.5 stars. This movie was okay. Post. Boom. All right, reviews posted. So when I refresh this page, it should still be there, right? Oh, look at that. Wait a minute. It's gone. Oh, let me go to my ratings page. Oh, wait, where is it? Wait, maybe I should refresh it. Maybe I should refresh it 1,000 times. Oh, look. It's not popping up. It's not popping up. And oh, wait a minute, though. 15 hours ago, I was able to post reviews for Halloween, Mary Poppins, Bad Times at the El Royale, Hereditary, 2.5 stars for Ralph Breaks the Internet, 2.5 stars for the Favorite, 1.5 stars. Oh, I was able to actually put a 1.5 star rating for Super Troopers 2 and for Crazy Rich Asians. What's going on here? Why is it that the only movie that I seem to not be able to put a review for is Captain Marvel? It's interesting that they're going to be like, oh, it's a technical issue, it's a technical glitch, and yet it's not happening with any of their other movies. It's just this movie. I will say there's one exception, and that is A Wrinkle in Time. I tried putting a review for A Wrinkle in Time, and that one has yet to show up. The reason why is because what it shows us clearly is because it is indeed more than just this movie, is that there are movies that they obviously are protecting. There are movies that obviously have something in their code, something in the algorithm that protects them from reviews. That makes it to the point where the reviews either get vetted or get lost in the system somewhere, and then every 30 minutes or so, what they do is they release reviews in chunks. And what's been going on, and this is something that the stream that we were doing last night was covering, is that every time they release these 3,000 reviews at a time in these chunks, the score that was at as low as 31% at one time kept going up by about 3 percentage points. Someone actually did the math and said that over 85% of the reviews that they were releasing at any given time had a 3.5 out of 5-star rating or more. The reason why we know that is because this percentage only reflects the number of people who have given it a 3.5 out of 5 score. How do we know that? Because it tells us very much right here. It says the percentage of users who have rated this movie 3.5 stars or higher, meaning 52% of audiences, according to them, according to at least the reviews that they've released, according to the reviews that they've actually allowed to be posted, have said and given this a 3.5 out of 5 score, 52%. Now, of course, we know that this number is bullcrap because we know that there are 40,000 reviews that just magically disappeared. Everyone's trying to make excuses saying, oh, well, they haven't disappeared. You can still go through the reviews page and they're still there. Here's the problem. That number does not match up to the number that's on here. This number should be close to around 100,000 at this point in time, based off of the previous estimates and based on the new reviews that have been added. Of course, unless these are all just, the old reviews slowly being, vetted and approved over time. But that doesn't work either because you can see brand new reviews from today being posted, which means that they're obviously letting some reviews through, but they're also not letting others either. I've, again, posted my review now for this movie like 10, 15, 20 times now. Several times, and every single time it gets deleted, it doesn't get saved, and it doesn't get posted. And yet people's reviews are still getting posted, both positive and negative, by the way. The problem, though, is that they are obviously, because this percentage continues to go up, because now the average rating is at a 3 out of 5, when it was at a 2.3 when all of this first started, shows that they are releasing them with the vast majority, 80%, 85% plus of them being a 3.5 or higher score, being a higher rated score. And that's not even taking into account the fact that there are probably a lot of 3-star reviews in there that are also being released that aren't going into this 52%, but are probably helping out this average rating. Because these are two different numbers. The 52%, remember, are the number of users giving a 3.5 out of 5 or higher. The average rating takes the actual star ratings themselves. This means that out of the, what are we at now? The 32,000 people of reviews that have actually been approved, the over 32,000 reviews that have actually been put in at this point, the average rating, the star rating, is a 3 out of 5 stars. So what does this mean? This means that Rotten Tomatoes is obviously playing with the system. Rotten Tomatoes is obviously playing around with their numbers, or at the very least is incompetent and can't run a legit system. It's interesting that this is happening over here, yet if you go over to sites like, for example, let's go over to Metacritic. Metacritic is one site that people oftentimes don't really pay a lot of attention to because they don't understand the scores, or the scores are lower than they expect. Here's the thing. Look at this 65. What this means is it's a 65 out of 100. It's a very clear score. And the way that they do this, the way that they are able to transfer the reviews of various critics into these scores is by saying, okay, let's say that they give it a 2 out of 4. Okay, well then that would equate to a certain grade or, a certain number. And so they break down their entire methodology on this site. So you can go ahead and check it out for yourself. Again, you can they literally break down every single thing. They tell you how they weight, how to interpret, what grades mean. For 2.5 is a 63, a 2 is a 50. So as you can see, they make it very clear at a 4-star scale, a letter grade scale. They break everything down for you, and I think it's very good that they do that. Is it a perfect system? Probably not. There's probably ways in which the system is flawed, but that 65 I think is important because it matches up perfectly with the critic rating. Keep in mind, the 79% is only the critics who have pressed fresh. It means that 79% of the 330 people that have submitted reviews to Rotten Tomatoes have clicked the fresh button, because every time a review is posted, they get to choose 2 options. Either the review is a fresh or it's a rotten rating. They get to choose that, the critics themselves. And I've already exposed this in another video where you have certain critics giving the movie a 2 out of 4 or a 2.5 out of 5 and giving it a fresh rating, when in previous cases, for previous movies, the same critics giving the same score gave a rotten score to something else. So it's obviously they are, obviously basically propping up this score. However, they're not propping up where it comes into play with the average rating, because the average rating here is a 6.78 out of 10. For those who failed math, that's a 67%. Let's round up. It's a 68%. That is a failing grade. You would have to go to summer school at my school if you got a 68%. Yet it does not match up to the 79%. 79% looks a lot better, right? But this is the actual grade. This is the actual grade of the film, is a failing grade. That actually matches up perfectly with Metacritic because it's a 65. Again, there's only a couple of points difference there. And so therefore, Metacritic, in my opinion, is a lot more accurate as far as what the movie grade actually is, how the critics view the movie itself, but also too, guess what? They do not censor the audience scores. Significantly less traffic again, out of all the users, it's a 2.9 out of 10. As you can see, it has saved my 5 out of 10 score. So 1, it saves your scores. It keeps them there. If you post a review, it posts it for you. It doesn't hide it. It doesn't vet it. It doesn't do anything that's going to erase it in the future, at least at this point in time. So that's why you have 1,744 ratings, and the average score is a 2.9 out of 10. 65 from critics. So right now, Metacritic is kind of winning the battle for me, saying that this is going to be at least the most viable alternative, at least at this point in time, until we're able to create something better. I have something in the works right now. The site that I have currently that is being, that I'm sharing around and putting in the description of my videos and stuff like that, that is not the final product. That is a holdover site for you to be able just to put an up or down vote on whether you want to see a movie or not, and to give a simple star rating for a movie if you have seen it, and you can leave a comment with your review below it. So I'm trying that. I know other people are wanting to try to make something different or wanting to try and do something. But in the meantime, hey, go over to Metacritic. Let them know how you feel about this movie. Don't review bomb, though. And this is what's driving me crazy. And this is kind of like the second part of this video. Is it's not just the Rotten Tomatoes. It is not just the fact that they are obviously vetting scores. It's not the fact that they are obviously cooking the books in some way. Let me try and refresh it. So again, it's still a 52%. Score has not changed. The bigger problem to me is the fact that you have sites like YouTube that are now silencing voices in a very clear way. As it says from TheVerge.com, YouTube fought Brie Larson trolls by changing its search algorithm. How a simple news tag can change everything. What this article reveals is that what YouTube has done is that any time that you search Brie Larson as a name has now been tagged as a newsworthy item. So there's a news tag attached to her name. And what does that mean? I'll show you. So beforehand, whenever you would go to youtube.com and you would type in Brie Larson, the first things that would pop up, the first articles that would pop up would be, hey, we're going to, people critical of Brie Larson, people going after her, people, or, not really going after her, but basically calling her out for her crap. Now, what happens? BuzzFeed Celeb. Oh, yeah, because that's a trustworthy site, because BuzzFeed has never made up news before. BuzzFeed is the epitome of when it comes to objectivity, right? Jimmy Kimmel Live, because everyone knows that Jimmy Kimmel is the purveyor of truth and knowledge when it comes to the late night shows. Wired, The Taco, Today, People TV, The Brie Larson Vivo, BBC Radio 1, and then the actual speech itself, winning Best Actress, Brie Larson, funny and cute moments. Does Captain Marvel Brie Larson hate white men? American Uncovered, Brie Larson Vivo, wait a minute, IMAX, wished upon a vlog, oh, here we go. So you have to go like halfway down the page before you start to get to any articles that are being critical of Brie Larson. And the only reason why I honestly think that's the case is because they have such high reviews, or rather they have such high views in general. So this is what they're doing on YouTube. They are literally censoring voices. They are making it so that when people search for Brie Larson, the first things they see are these hand-picked so-called legitimate news sites that we already know are in the tank for movies like this and for people like Brie Larson. How do we know that? Not only because YouTube itself is being exposed in this way, not only because YouTube is being reported this way, but also look at the site that's reporting it, TheVerge.com. Notice how they're saying they're fighting off the trolls. They're calling every person that is critical of Brie Larson and Captain Marvel a troll. They are painting a fake story. These are the same idiots. These are the same asshats who are pushing that fake story about how everyone was review bombing the film before the film had even come out. Even though we know as a fact that what was happening, where people were clicking on, I am not interested in this movie on Rotten Tomatoes. That's all that they were doing. They were saying, I'm not interested, and here's why. But they called it review bombing. And then they called everyone that was doing it a sexist troll. And most of them are white men. And most of them are racist and sexist on top of it. So yeah, people like TheVerge.com were pushing it. So look at them. They're supporting YouTube for fighting off the trolls. You then have this also. This beautiful article from Bloomberg.com. Trolls targeted Captain Marvel, but Disney was ready for them. Film studios, here is the kicker. This line right here. Film studios are taking a more aggressive approach to countering online criticism. When in the hell did criticism become a bad thing? Am I living in bizarro world here? Is criticism now banned? Can we no longer have a critical thought? You now not only have Rotten Tomatoes censoring scores, you also have YouTube censoring things, and now also you have the mainstream media going out of its way to paint every single person that's being critical of Captain Marvel as a sexist pig, a sexist troll, and guess what? People are believing it. People are buying into it. People are accepting this as truth. This is dangerous, guys. You might be saying, why are you freaking out? Why are you being so crazy about this? It's just Rotten Tomatoes. It's just a movie. That's the point. If we cannot trust the mainstream media to cover a movie, a freaking movie fairly, if we can't trust the media to cover a freaking celebrity fairly, how in the hell can we trust them to cover bigger stories? That's right, we can't in most cases because they've already been exposed. They've already been exposed to have biases. No longer is this actual news. No longer is this actual, journalism. This is all opinion pieces. Even the front covers of some of the biggest sites now, the Washington Post, the New York Times, are filled to the brim with opinion pieces that are masquerading as journalism. There's a great YouTuber called Tim Pool. Go check him out. Tim Pool, Timcast, awesome channel. Seriously, he's so great. He's also been covering the situation going on with Captain Marvel as well, and he has really great insight on this because this is a dangerous situation. This is dangerous territory. If you cannot objectively cover a news story about frickin' Rotten Tomatoes, about frickin' Captain Marvel, and about frickin' Brie Larson, how in the hell can I ever possibly trust you to cover anything about Donald Trump or any of the world leaders? Or any future politician, or any president, or any representative? You're right, I can't. If I can't trust you in the small things, how can I expect to trust you in the big things? This is why it's a big deal. This is why so many of us are spending hours of content, hours of time, blood, sweat, and tears on this. Because it's important. This stuff is important, not just as someone who loves film, as someone who has someone who's been in love with film since I was a kid. The theater was a place where I could go, where I could just escape. The theater was a place where I could go, where I could enter into someone else's life for just a couple of hours. I could enter into a different world that was not my own. The movie theater was a safe space. Before safe spaces became a thing, it was a safe space because I was able to engage with something that I was never going to be able to engage in the real world. I love the movies. I love the movie theater. And now what you see happening is you see Hollywood, you see the media, YouTube, giant tech companies, the giant media, and Hollywood all in cahoots with each other, all trying to censor critical voices of them, paint them all, every single person who's being critical of this as a racist, as a sexist, as a homophobe, you name it, any single negative connotation or negative name you can give to anyone, they are giving to these people. Trolls. Now people are using the name troll. Just because I gave a 2.5 star review for this film, just because I called this film out as not being a good movie, I gave this movie a C-, which many people will think would actually be too high. But I gave a fair review to this movie, and I can't even post it. You wanna know why? Because I'm labeled as a troll. I'm just a troll that's trying to gin up the public, and I'm just trying to make everyone angry. No, I'm trying to expose the truth. I'm trying to expose what is actually going on. I'm trying to expose the ridiculous nature of the news media, of Rotten Tomatoes, of the giant tech companies, of Hollywood in general. Because that's what this all is. These are Hollywood insiders at Rotten Tomatoes. Nerd Drotic did a great job covering this in a video where he exposed Sci-Fi Wire admitting on their podcast that one of the persons on the podcast who also releases reviews for Rotten Tomatoes admitted to cooking his reviews for movies, for saying that, oh yeah, every critic at some point in their life is going to fudge a review here and there, play softball in their review, because you can't just go after people. You got to protect the access media, right? You have to protect yourself for being able to go to those premieres and get access to all the stars. They've admitted to that. So how in the hell then can we trust these scores in the first place? How in the hell can we trust the fact the 79%? How can we trust the 6.78 out of 10? How do we know that these people aren't just giving positive reviews to the film because of a political agenda? We can't, because film criticism has become politicized now. It's no longer about objective truth. It's no longer about objectivity. It is now purely a subjective experience. The fact that even Brie Larson herself has gone on record. The whole thing that started this mess was Brie Larson going on record saying, I don't care what a 40-year-old white dude has to say about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for you. It's that mindset. It's that mindset about film criticism, about the movie industry in general, that has led to all of this. It has led to a cultural moment and a cultural war. What side are you on? Are you on the side of the tech giants, of the news media that's going to spin stories, are going to make up fake news, are going to spin everything in this way about a freaking movie, and therefore are going to lose any trustworthiness that they possibly had left at this point? Are you going to be on that side? Are you going to be on the side of a site that fudges with numbers, that doesn't let people just put a score and say, this is what I thought, this is what I think? Are you going to go on that side of it? Are you going to support a movie that pushes for a really bad story and a really bad feminist agenda on top of that? Are you going to be on that side? Or are you going to be on the other side that's trying to find what is true in the world, that is trying to find and expose the truth in the world, that is also trying to look at movies as objectively as possible and say, hey, even though I didn't like the movie, I can still say positive things about it? What side do you want to be on? I know what side I want to be on. I know what side most of the people watching these videos want to be on. And I am proud to be in the company of the men and women of all races, of all creeds, of sexual orientations. I am proud to be with them. I am proud to be with all of you watching this. We are what's going to be the change that's going to affect it. We are the only ones that can bring about the change. We are the only ones that can call these people out. And this is not just Rotten Tomatoes here. This is not just the Hollywood industry. Obviously, we can call them out. Obviously, as a film person, I'm going to call them out. Don't worry about that. But it's also the big tech giants with YouTube, censoring voices, changing the algorithm to affect this. It's also the big media corporations, TheVerge.com, Bloomberg, all these other sites. These are the people that are going to affect the future of elections, of our culture, of the mindset of a large group of people in America and across the world. That's what we're fighting against. And that's why this is important. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please share this video with as many people as you can. Let them know the truth. Let them know that this is not just a bunch of racist, sexist trolls. That this is instead a label being given to us by the mainstream media to try and cover for a freaking movie. All because they can't handle criticism. That's what it all comes down to. They cannot handle criticism. And any criticism that doesn't line up with their SJW identity politics thinking must be racist, must be sexist, must be something other than what is normal. Because that is the only way that they can win the argument. If they try and dehumanize someone to the point of calling them a troll, of making them seem like some ethereal Russian bot, that's when they're able to justify them and say, yeah, they have no reason to exist. It's dehumanizing. And that's what we're fighting against. So please share this with as many people as you can. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, smash that like button. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a subscribe. Seriously, you're all amazing. We're almost at 15,000 subscribers. Let's try and get to 15K over the next couple days, because that's definitely a possibility at this point. And I'm going to leave a link. Again, we did a 14-hour live stream on my secondary channel, Welcome to Asgard. I'm going to leave a link to that in the description of this video. Go check it out. It's still processing, but it will be live. And go check it out for yourself. See it for yourself. I'm going to probably release eventually a condensed version that's going to essentially give a speed through process so you can see the updates happen live and see the changes of how it happens, and therefore see for your very eyes how Rotten Tomatoes is either blatantly trying to cook the books, which it very much seems like at this point, or is at least so incompetent that when they broke their website by taking away the not interested score, that they broke the entirety of their website in the process. So either they're incompetent and stupid because of a political choice, or they're just making political choices. Either way, it doesn't look good for them. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.